Welcome back to Arise Africa with me, Ngozi Alebu. In building personal branding, research says it is important to master the skills of emotional intelligence. Many literature have also focused on some elements of emotional intelligence as being the foundation of success. Now, while there are a few attempts in contemporary times at bringing attention to the elements of emotional intelligence, most people ignore them and focus on their long-held opinion in building personal branding, where a brand cannot live up to its market promise. Now, to discuss these dynamics and other elements of personal development is a personal development coach and writer, Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko. She joins us from our London studio. Glad to have you on the show at this time. First off, briefly, talk about yourself, your niche, and your journey to, journey to influence.
Okay, good morning. My name is Omobabiri Adeola Oshideko. I'm a personal development coach and a personal branding expert. Okay, aside that, I am also a full-time practicing accountant. And later in the journey of my life, I discovered that I have more to deliver to the society. I have more to deliver to humanity than just calculating figures. I discovered purpose. I discovered that I love teaching and I love impacting lives. And that is what made me to dive into personal development and personal branding.
Okay, it's good that we know a little more about you. Now, last year, the federal government challenged, the Nigerian youth specifically to acquire relevant skills, and training to fast-track socio-economic development. Now, what's the need? How important is it to have personal development in becoming a leader, especially for the younger generation?
Okay, personal development, just like the name, your employability skills. It boils down to you as a person. What do you have to offer aside your job, outside your job? What are the things that you have to offer? Leadership has a very direct link with your personal development, because leadership on its own is a personal development skill. It's one of the skills. Okay, let me just say that for personal development, we have a whole lot of things under it. We have emotional intelligence, we have personality development, we have personal branding. We have so many things, and leadership skills is one of the personal development skills, digital skills that you have to get now as an individual if you really want to make impact in the society.
Now, aside the four walls of a classroom where you get formal education, how else can individuals develop themselves? Okay.
Just like the name implies, personal development, most of the time these things are not taught in schools. They are not taught anywhere. Even if you are an employee, most of the time your employer does not make you go through all this personal development trainings. So most of the time you have to get it yourself by reading books, by attending conferences and seminars, events, by going online to check for materials. We have a lot of online schools and academy now that teach a lot of skills about personal development. We have communication skills, personality development, emotional intelligence, personal branding, even parenting. Parenting is now a modern day skill that you have to acquire if you really want to be successful as a parent. So we have a lot of online schools and portals, learning portals, where individuals can go to go and learn about all these things.
And speaking of, the proliferation of online schools, there are concerns that the younger generation no longer really have interest in any kind of learning or learning anything at all. So, I mean, what does, this self-development that you talk about, what exactly does it look like, especially in this digital age?
Okay, digital age has actually brought a lot of fun into personal development, because unlike before, that you have to go to school to learn everything. Now you can sit at the comfort of your house, at the comfort of your office, and learn. Just go online, log on to this portal. And I think apart from the fact that these things are convenient, most of the time they have their own benefits for you as a leader, as a young person that wants to attain leadership position in future. So it is a must. It has gone beyond, oh, I don't have interest. It's something you have to be prepared for. It's something you have to equip yourself for in order to have a good quality of life, and in order to be able to fit in into the society of this day.
Let's bring it even closer home. Not too long ago, there was the backlash when President Muhammadu Buhari said, you know, something about Nigerian youth being lazy. And then you have a situation where 20% of the youth is unemployed, and that's 90% of the 200 million population. Now, how much of this is due to lack of personal development?
Just like I said, personal development is a must for everyone. So I think in the light of being useful to yourself and being useful to the society is something every youth have to key into, especially because now we are in the digital world, we are in the digital age, that everything has gone global, everything has gone digital. So in order to fit in into the digital world, you have to be able to train yourself personally towards the trend, towards where the world is bending to. You have to train yourself towards that area so that at the end of the day, you will not be outdated as a youth.
And outdated seems to be the real situation now when it comes to the Nigerian youth, where even the Labour and Employment Minister, Chris Ngige, told the Nigerian youth not to look in the direction of government for employment. Now, I mean, it's very, very interesting that one can even begin to explore so many things. But let's even talk about that emotional intelligence that you mentioned earlier. How important is it in this age that we find ourselves in?
Okay, emotional intelligence is actually very important. And the beauty of it is that it has a two-way operating line. It's important to you as an individual for your personal life, and it's also important for you as an individual in your professional life. If you want to be a successful career person, emotional intelligence is something you really need to pay attention to, because the truth of the matter is that organizations are not looking for people that have IQ these days. They are actually looking for people with high EQ, which is emotional quotient. So they want to know how much can you relate with people at work? How much of good social skills do you have? Are you a threat to your fellow employees? Are you someone that other people cannot easily get along with? Are you someone that people find it very difficult to work with? So all those things are now key. If you go for interviews, you will see interviewers asking you about situations, how you handle it, and the results, you know. So it has now become a must for everyone to go and learn emotional intelligence. It is not just about being technically sound now. You must be emotionally sound before you can be successful on any job.
Let's go back to the issue that you were talking about, you know, employment among the youth. Now, let's look at the curriculum in the education system. Now, do you agree with those who actually say that the curriculum, whether it's at the primary, secondary or tertiary levels, are somewhat outdated, and there is a need to even declare a state of emergency as far as education is concerned to meet the demands of an emerging and a changing world?
Okay, the world is evolving, and I think since that is happening, the educational system too should evolve. There are so many things that should be added to the curriculum now because of a whole lot of things. Even if you look at the elementary education system, a lot of things has changed. The way they teach those children before now is not the same way they are teaching them. They are applying a lot of Montessori method and the rest. So I think there is a need for the government to look into the educational system and try and fix or probably adjust some things. For instance, this emotional intelligence we are talking about is something that should be taught in school. You will see a child being bullied, and the next thing is they want to go and kill themselves, they are depressed, they want to commit suicide, and the rest of it. So I think the government should also look into this area. There are so many things that should not be left to individuals to go and sort out on their own later in future. I think all of those things can also be included into the educational curriculum in order to help these children as they grow up.
And in your work so far as a personal development coach, what have been the challenges that you have discovered, and what solutions would you bring to bear?
Okay, I have discovered a whole lot of problems because I deal with people every day. Like, I coach people online. I have a lot of online trainings that I run. And I discovered that the moral system has really broken down. A lot is wrong with the moral system, the value system. Young people are now very rude, very aggressive, very confrontational. They are not, those are not the kind of people we want to breed as leaders for our nation in the future. So it is important for us as parents, as teachers, as educationists, and the government to pay attention to this younger generation, to this youth. I think we need to address this moral system. It's really getting bad. And one of the things I will also recommend, just like you said, is personal development. The school, the government should try and look at the educational curriculum and see what they can fix. The parents, too, they can also play an important role in educating their children. Make sure they get it right morally. All those simple things, courtesy, greetings, etiquette, and the rest should be inculcated right from the beginning of training a child, so that when they grow up, it is not very difficult for us to bend them or twist them.
A very important point you make there, but let's even look at the teachers themselves. Like they say, you cannot give what you don't have. Do we have the quality of teachers that we need to actually drive this kind of personal development that you talk about?
I'm afraid we do not really have those kind of teachers. And let's even leave the children part, the youth part. Now, let's even go to teachers. Teachers also in this age need to develop themselves. The way you're training a child or a student in the 1990s is not the same way you can, because a lot of things are changing. These children, these youth are exposed to internet, they're exposed to social media, they're exposed to so many things that really change their mentality. So you really need to be ready, like you should be able to flow along with their age, with the trend, and with the system they have found themselves. So, and I'm also challenging teachers out there. If you're a teacher and you're watching this, you also need to personally develop yourself. Keep developing yourself. That school that you have gone to 15, 30 years
we'll have to leave it there.
Cannot help this age.